The afternoon sun burned hot over the city, and the street buzzed with life. Cars honking, people shouting, dust rising in the air. By the roadside, beneath a faded umbrella, sat Babu, a disabled shoeshiner. His legs were weak, but his hands were strong. With quiet focus, he bent over a worn-out shoe, stitching it carefully with black thread. His tools sat neatly in a rusted metal box beside him. Glue, polish, brushes, and thread. Fixing shoes was all he had left. Once upon a time, Babu lived a different life. He was the proud owner of a top shoe company in Abuja, wearing fine suits, flying business class, attending meetings with powerful people. But a terrible accident changed everything. His legs never healed, and while he lay in a hospital bed, the woman he called wife, who only loved his wealth, sold the company and vanished without a word. Now, here he was, back to zero, sitting at the edge of the road, surviving one shoe at a time. But fate was not finished with Babu. Without warning, the crowd's noise shifted. People turned to look. A woman in a white wedding gown came running down the street, barefoot, eyes swollen with tears, her veil flying behind her like a broken dream. Her hands trembled, her lips quivered. She looked like someone whose world had just fallen apart. Babu looked up from his work, stunned. As she rushed past him, her fingers gripped a golden ring. Then, in a sharp motion, she pulled it off and tossed it down, letting it fall directly in front of him. The ring bounced once on the dusty ground, then rolled to a stop beside Babu's foot. Before he could react, she was already far ahead. Babu's heart jumped. He grabbed the walking sticks that lay beside him, pushed himself up with effort, and tried to follow her. His arms trembled as he dragged himself forward, step by slow step. Sweat poured down his face. His body begged him to stop, but his mind pushed him on. "Madam," he called out, "your ring." But his voice was drowned by the sound of the street. From the corner of his eye, he saw her open a taxi door, throw herself inside, and disappear as the car sped off into traffic. Silence returned. The street carried on like nothing had happened. But Babu stood there, breathless, holding the ring in his shaking hand. The gold sparkled under the sun, but it carried a deep sadness. He knew what he saw in her eyes: heartbreak, betrayal, pain. He slowly returned to his bench, still clutching the ring. He didn't know her name. He didn't know where she came from or where she was going. But something in him said, this ring was meant to reach her again. And even if he couldn't run, he could still try. The next morning came quietly. The sun rose, but for Babu, everything felt different. He had not touched his shoeshine box since the woman in the white gown ran past him and dropped the ring. The picture of her teary face, the flying veil, and the golden ring would not leave his mind. That ring was still wrapped in a piece of cloth inside his pocket. It was not just gold, it held pain. Babu could feel it. He didn't know her name. He didn't know where she went. But something inside him said, this ring must reach her again. So Babu took his walking sticks and began to ask people around the street. Did anyone see where that wedding woman went yesterday? At first, no one gave answers, but soon, a taxi driver remembered. She stopped at the Atlantic Grand Hotel. I think she's one of those billionaires. That was all Babu needed. He begged a kind Kiki rider for a ride. The young man, seeing Babu's condition, agreed without asking questions. They arrived at the hotel. It was large, clean, and full of guards at the gate. Two of them stood tall, eyeing everyone who came close. Babu walked up, using all his strength to keep balance on his sticks. Good morning, he said gently. Please, I'm looking for the bride who ran from here yesterday." The guards looked him over and laughed. "Old man, a beg shift from here. You know see this place, na big people they come." "I'm not here to beg. I just want to give her something she dropped." One of the guards stepped forward to push him back. But just then, a calm voice came from behind. "Let him talk." They turned. There she was, Ayanda Banjo, the same woman in the wedding gown, now dressed in a soft blue gown, hair tied back, no makeup, just a tired face full of sadness. Babu stepped forward slowly. His hand trembled as he pulled out the small wrapped cloth. He opened it carefully and revealed the golden wedding ring. "I saw you drop this," he said. "I thought maybe you'd want it back." Ayanda stared at the ring in silence, the same ring she had pulled from her finger and thrown in front of him. She didn't move for a moment. Then, without a word, she stepped forward, took the ring from his hand, and threw it straight into the dustbin beside the gate. The ring made a soft clink as it hit the bottom of the bin. The guards were shocked. Babu blinked. Ayanda looked at him with tired eyes. "I dropped it because I never want to see it again," she said quietly. Babu nodded slowly, understanding. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I only thought maybe it meant something." "It did," she said, her voice shaking. "It meant a lie." She turned to walk back inside, but just before she entered, she paused and looked back at him. "Thank you for your kindness." Then she disappeared into the mansion, and the gate closed. Babu stood still for a while. The dustbin beside him now held a ring worth millions, but it also held a woman's broken trust. Babu turned away, leaning on his sticks, and slowly made his way back to the road. He didn't get a thank you hug. He didn't get a reward, but he gave something that many forget how to give: honesty. And even though the ring was gone again, something had already begun. The day after Babu returned the ring, the sky felt calm. He sat quietly under his usual umbrella, his 2 walking sticks resting by his side. His hands were back to work, fixing a man's dusty sandal with quiet care. But inside him, something had shifted. He had done what he thought was right. She had thrown the ring away. Still, he held no anger. "She's carrying a heavy heart," he whispered to himself. The street moved around him like normal, shouting conductors, children running past. The smell of roasted corn and engine smoke mixing in the air. Then, out of nowhere, everything paused. A blue Lamborghini pulled up right in front of Babu's small wooden bench. Its tires stopped gently. People nearby turned and gasped. That kind of car didn't belong in this area. The door opened slowly, and Ayanda stepped out. No veil, no makeup, no pride. Just a simple white top and jeans, holding 2 bags, one full of hot food, the other a bottle of water. She looked at Babu with soft eyes. "Good afternoon," she said. Babu was surprised, but stood up slowly, using his sticks. "Madam, you came?" "I did," she said, smiling a little. "May I sit?" He nodded quickly, wiping the bench beside him. She sat down beside him under the shade. "I'm sorry for how I acted yesterday," she said. "I was angry, hurt. I shouldn't have thrown it at you twice." Babu smiled gently. "It's not the ring that matters. It's the peace you carry inside." Ayanda looked at him, thoughtful. "You speak like someone who has seen many storms." Babu looked away for a second, then back at her. "More than I can count." She passed him the food. "Please eat. You helped me in silence. Let me help you now." Babu opened the container slowly, the smell of warm jollof rice rising in the air. As he took a bite, she asked quietly, "Tell me about yourself. Who are you really?" Babu wiped his lips and leaned back. I once owned a shoe company in Abuja. We made high-quality leather shoes. I had cars, employees, respect. Ayanda raised her eyebrows. What happened? He looked at his legs for a moment. An accident. My legs stopped working. I stayed in hospital for months. My wife, she sold everything and disappeared. Ayanda's eyes softened. I'm so sorry. Babu shrugged gently. I came back to nothing, so I started again. With my hands. There was a silence between them. Then Ayanda said slowly, I own a shoe company too. Babu looked at her, surprised. A big one, she added. Banjo Leathers. You may have heard of it. Babu's eyes widened. Of course, that's one of the biggest. Ayanda nodded. But the truth is, I know little about making shoes. I only handle money and designs. She paused, then looked straight at him. I came today to ask, would you like to work with me? Babu blinked. Work with you? Yes, she said. I need someone with real experience, real hands, real heart. Will you come to my company? Babu sat silent for a moment. He wasn't dreaming. Then slowly, a smile appeared on his face. I will, if you believe I can. Ayanda smiled. I already do. And just like that, under a dusty umbrella beside a broken shoebox, something beautiful began to grow. Not love yet, but respect. And from that soil, something deeper was coming. 3 days later, Babu arrived at Banjo Leathers, one of the biggest and most respected shoe companies in the country. The building was tall and shiny, with glass doors, smartly dressed workers, and big cars parked in front. Everything about it looked rich, but Babu came as he was. Old shirt, simple brown trousers. His hands held 2 walking sticks. His shoes were worn out, not out of laziness, but out of life's journey. When he walked into the office, the receptionist blinked in surprise. Excuse me, sir. Deliveries are made at the back. I'm not here to deliver shoes, Babu replied kindly. I was invited by Madam Ayanda. The woman paused. She made a quick phone call. After a moment, Ayanda's assistant came down and smiled warmly. Mr. Babu, welcome. Please come with me. Babu followed slowly, his sticks clicking against the floor tiles. The workers at their desks turned to look. Some whispered. Some laughed quietly. Who's that? He looks like a beggar. What's he doing here with those sticks? As Babu entered the design room, 3 young staff stopped their work and stared. One of them, a proud-faced man in a suit, scoffed and said loudly, Madam Ayanda wants to build a shoe empire, and this is the man she brings? A roadside fixer with no laptop. Another chuckled, maybe he came to shine our shoes. They all laughed, the kind of laugh that cuts deep. Babu heard every word. He looked at them calmly and said nothing. Later, in the staff lounge, someone took a picture of Babu walking past and sent it to a group chat with a message. The new shoeshine pastor has arrived. They all laughed again. But what they didn't know was this. The hands they were mocking had once signed paychecks. The brain they were laughing at had once built a shoe empire. And the man they looked down on was exactly who Ayanda had trusted. That evening, Babu quietly packed his notes and sketches and left the building. He didn't complain. He didn't shout. He just smiled and whispered to himself, let time speak. The next morning, Ayanda sat at her office desk going through reports when her assistant quietly stepped in. Madam, she said, there's something you need to see. Ayanda looked up. The assistant passed her a phone. On the screen was a screenshot from the company group chat, a photo of Babu walking through the hallway with the words, New shoeshine pastor has arrived. More messages followed. Nawao, is this the new manager we're hearing about? Abeg, He should go back to roadside repair. Ayanda's face changed. Her fingers gripped the phone tightly. She scrolled further, her heart sinking. These were her employees, and they were mocking the very man she respected most. She stood up slowly. Call for a full staff meeting. Now. 15 minutes later, the entire staff gathered in the company's main conference room. They whispered as they sat. What's going on? Why is she angry? Then the door opened. Ayanda walked in. Beside her was Babu, calm, quiet, walking with his 2 sticks. Ayanda faced the room. Her voice was steady. Yesterday, many of you laughed at this man. You whispered behind his back. Some of you even shared photos in group chats, mocking him. No one spoke. The room went silent. Ayanda turned slightly, looking at Babu with a gentle nod. Let me tell you who he is. She turned back to the staff. This man, Babu, once owned one of Abuja's top shoe companies. He designed shoes with his own hands and trained workers who now manage their own factories. He lost everything in an accident, but he never gave up. Instead of begging, he sat on the roadside and worked with dignity. She paused. Then her voice rose slightly. And this is the man I trust to lead with heart, with experience, and with vision. Ayanda stepped closer to the table. As of today, Babu is the new general manager of Banjo Leathers. He will oversee all shoe production, design, and training. Gasps filled the room. Eyes widened. The same people who laughed were now speechless. One of the designers, who had mocked Babu, looked down in shame. Ayanda continued, If you ever judged a person by their clothes, by their legs, or by where they sit, then today is your lesson. She looked at Babu. Sir, welcome home. Babu looked at the crowd. His eyes were calm. I didn't come here to fight anyone. I came to build shoes and to build hearts. That evening, Babu sat alone in his new office. A big glass window showed the sunset over the city. He looked around the clean desk, the soft chair, the documents before him. He was back, not to power, but to purpose. And this time, he was not alone.